In this video, we'll compare two lists using the VLOOKUP function within Excel. It's just way too time consuming to do this manually, especially when you can learn such an easy equation like the VLOOKUP, which will allow you to do it in minutes as opposed to hours. So let's get to it. Here we have two data sets. One, a list of presidents of the United States of America, the greatest country on earth, and the second, a list of signers of the Declaration of Independence. So we'll cross-check them and see which signers were presidents. But first, let's cover the basic premise on how it works. It should really be called the VLOOKDOWN function, because how it works is it will go down a single column or list until it reaches the first match it finds. Then it will return the value in the column you tell it to. So let's look at our first example. In cell G2, we'll type in equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and then the first item is what we're actually looking up. So in this case, we'll be looking for John Hancock in the list of presidents. So we'll go over and we'll highlight our table. I like to just highlight the whole column. We'll go B to B, and then we only have one column, so we're just going to return column 1, and then we'll put false, because we always put false, and I'll explain that later. And then close parentheses, enter. And then the number NA means that there was no match found. So we'll drag it down, we'll hit the little plus sign on the bottom, and you can see that the first match is John Adams. And then there's two more down here, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Harrison. So we'll go ahead and real quick and we'll just sort that and bring them to the top. So we'll go to data, sort, and then we have headers on, and then we'll just select the VLOOKUP column, and then OK, and then there we go. We got them all at the top now. So you can see how quick and easy it was to search that list. All right, now let's switch up the columns a little bit. Instead of using just column BB and only having one column, let's add in extra columns. So we'll go column B through D. Actually, let's look at column A through D so you can see what happens if you select A through D. You can see that it doesn't return the value which was there before, and the reason for that is because it always searches the first column that you use. So in this case, that column's blank, so of course it's not going to find anything. So let's go ahead and put it back, and we'll go B through D, columns B through D. And there you can see that it finds it again. And if we wanted to switch which column we were pulling, so right now we're pulling from column 1, which would be column B, we can switch that up and look at column 2, and now we can see that we're returning the first year that they were president. And then if we wanted, we could look at column 3, and you would see that it would return the president number that they were. So in this case, Benjamin Harrison was the 23rd president, John Adams the 2nd, and Thomas Jefferson the 3rd. There are two main error messages you can get while using the VLOOKUP function. If it doesn't find a match, it will return this. If you made an error filling out the function, you'll get this.
Had a little accident.
So those are the basics. Stay tuned and I'll transform you from a VLOOKUP noob to a VLOOKUP guru. I'll teach you everything you need to know about the VLOOKUP function. Before we jump into the next part, my name is Patrick and my mission is to help you excel at work and life and have the occasional laugh. If those are things you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and destroy that like button. So let's jump into some of the nuances with the VLOOKUP function. First off, you really want to use the VLOOKUP function in a column that has unique values. The reason for this is because if there's duplicates in the list, it's only going to find the first one and return that value. So let's take Grover Cleveland and add him to the list of Declaration of Independence. And here you can see that it returns 22, that he was the 22nd president. The only problem with that is that he was also the 24th president. But like I said, it's going to go down the list, find the first match, and then return that value. So in this case, the 22nd. So that's just one thing that you really need to look out for. Make sure you don't have duplicate values in that first column if you're looking to return data on it. And just know in advance that names can be an absolute nightmare because of the suffixes at the end, sometimes in one list they'll use it, sometimes they don't. So for example, like junior or senior or things like that, sometimes they won't put it in one list, but they will in the other. And also they'll use abbreviated first names, or they'll use middle initials with a period, without a period. And so that just kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to do the VLOOKUP search. And here are some examples. Here we have two lists of presidents from different sources, so we'll compare them and see what names match. So you see that George Washington is an exact match, so we'll drop it down, hit the little plus sign on the bottom. And for the most part, the top match pretty well, but as we start to go lower in the list, you'll see that less and less start matching, and usually it's related to the difference of how the middle initial is in each list. But then there are also some names that are different. For example, James Carter versus Jimmy Carter. And then also when we go a little lower, there's Bill Clinton versus William Clinton. So you could see that names definitely have a lot of nuances, even in a list that should ideally be exactly the same. Now let's cover wildcards while using the VLOOKUP function. So I pulled out only the list of presidents that don't match, and so you can see that they're all NA here. And so I also added in a column for their first name and then one for their last name to kind of break them apart. And then what we'll do is we'll search for them with a wildcard in the middle. So we'll go ahead and change C2 to the first name to Chester, and then we'll add the wildcard. So we'll say and then open quotations, star, close quotations, and then and again, and then we'll click column E, E2. And there you can see that it finds a match, because now what it's looking for Chester, and then anything in the middle, and then Arthur. So there it matches. And the only ones that don't match are Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton. And what we can do is we can eliminate the first name on that and just keep wildcard and then the last name. And there you can see that it finds a match. And the same thing with Bill Clinton. We'll go ahead and eliminate what's before Clinton, and then you can see that it matches now because it's looking for wildcard and then Clinton. So there's one thing about the VLOOKUP function that I have found to be absolutely worthless, and that is the last parameter within the VLOOKUP function, the true false, pretty much always set it to false, because I found that true never returns a value that you want it to. It's just complete garbage. So in summary, don't ever use true, just use false.
Congratulations. Use it well.
So which movie scene did you like best within this video? Leave that down below in the comments. Congratulations, you've just learned one of the most important tools within Excel. It's extremely powerful and extremely useful. So good job. On a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful did you find this video? Leave that number down below in the comments. 10 being the most helpful, of course.